Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for getting the most out of your OpenShift container platform on Nutanix. My name is Luke Congdon. I'm a Senior Director of Product Management at Nutanix, and I'm joined by Andy Daniel, a Staff Solution Architect in our Cloud Native team.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Happy to be here.
Great. Happy to have you. First and foremost, the most exciting news I have to share today is that Red Hat and Nutanix are now strategic long-term partners. This is really exciting for me because I've been waiting for this for a long time, and both companies have been working together really well, really efficiently to bring this to market. From the HP point of view, this is one of the longest standing asks that we've had. So we're really proud and anxious to bring this to you as customers. Now, the range of products we're supporting is actually quite broad, and this is why this announcement is so exciting. So we're starting with the OpenShift container platform on Nutanix and AHV as a preferred Kubernetes and containerization solution. On top of that, we're bringing Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or RHEL, as a guest operating system, certified for AHV. And also included is Satellite Server, which is Red Hat's native subscription compliance, errata, and patching solution. So the full stack working together with Nutanix AOS and AHV as a certified hypervisor. Very exciting. And what we're finding and have heard for years is the most compelling solution for our customers who need to use Red Hat, which quite honestly is the most important Linux enterprise supported guest operating system today. Now, we've had some great customer feedback, both from Coles and Unum, which were in the press release, which I can share here. What I'm also hearing from my customers directly and from my sales teams is that this is resonating really well in the world. I'm getting a lot of direct outreach. People are asking questions. They want to know more. And that's why Andy and I are here today. Now, the way I like to think about this is two greats coming together. Nutanix is going to offer the full stack of on-premise and cloud infrastructure, which is going to give you AOS, our distributed storage fabric, with the data services unparalleled in the industry, where I'm going to have access to objects, volume groups, files, and database as a service for Postgres, Mongo, and more. And on top of that, of course, included native virtualization with AHV. But not limited to that, we now have support for RHEL guest operating system and OpenShift container platform. Two greats coming together that you can use today. So let's talk about some of the supported versions, which I think are really exciting. You'll notice that we're starting with OpenShift 4.6, which is Red Hat's long-term supported version, and the more recent version of 4.7. On top of that, RHEL guest operating system is coming in version 7.9 and 8.2. These represent the most modern, most advanced, error-free, bug-free versions of RHEL guest operating system on their two most recent versions made available to customers. And then, of course, Satellite Server 6.9. So everything new, everything modern, including long-term support versions. And you get the same thing on the Nutanix side. So in our 5.20 and 5.16 versions, with the corresponding AHV versions, we're giving you a fully supported, mutually supported solution together. Now, there's a big green plus here as well, because we're not stopping here. Newer versions will continue to get supported as time goes on, and this is our long-term commitment to one another. We are supporting the agnostic or manual installation experience. We have full support for documentation for this, both on the Red Hat site and on the Nutanix GitHub site that you can easily get to. And this is available today. In the near future, we're going to support UPI or user provisioned infrastructure by giving you a click to deploy experience in Prism Central with a blueprint backed by COM. In this particular case, you will not need a COM license, which I think is a big bonus here. And then in the next half a year or so, we will support IPI provisioner, which is installer provisioned infrastructure, where from the native Red Hat installer, you can choose Nutanix as a platform choice and go through the traditional and more preferred installation instructions that OpenShift usually gives you. We think this is a great future, and we're committed to making this happen. Let's not wait any longer. Let's take a look at a demo. Over to you, Andy.
Thanks, Luke. So in the lead up to the partnership announcement, teams here at Nutanix and Red Hat have had the opportunity to work hand in hand to ensure our solutions are seamlessly compatible. This has meant not only engineering development and testing, but collaboration on documentation and technical resources so that customers have the absolute best experience. In mind, I had the opportunity to share some lab time with Andrew Sullivan, Principal Tech Marketing Manager at Red Hat, and what you're about to see is some of our first content collaboration. Let's roll it.
This video will demonstrate deploying Red Hat OpenShift to Nutanix AOS, including using the certified operator for Nutanix CSI integration. The install config.yaml follows the recommendations for bare metal user provisioned infrastructure, with worker node replicas set to 0 and platform of none. As a result, we will need to generate the installer manifest first to set the control plane nodes to not be schedulable. Once modified, generate the ignition files for installation and host them on a web server accessible to the virtual machines. The next step is to create the virtual machines themselves and install Red Hat Enterprise Linux CoreOS. Each VM will have a recommended amount of CPU, memory, and disk. Please refer to the documentation for specific guidance. The CoreOS installation will be done using the live ISO method. We add that image as the first disk to the virtual machines. Afterward, attach the OS disk and appropriate network, then complete the VM creation wizard. If not automatically done, power on the virtual machine and allow it to boot to the live ISO. From the console, we will be configuring the network for a static IP using NMCLI or NM2E. If you're using DHCP, this step is not necessary. Once the network has been configured, install CoreOS using the command line, transferring the network configuration to the local disk. The install will take a few moments to copy data to the disk, after which the virtual machine can be powered off and the ISO device detached. Repeat these steps for all other nodes in the cluster. When complete, power on all the nodes to begin the OpenShift deployment. Install progress is monitored using the OpenShift install command, first waiting for the bootstrap process to complete. Once bootstrap is done, power off the bootstrap virtual machine and optionally destroy it. The worker nodes will need to have their certificate signing requests approved in order to join the cluster, so we will approve them when they are visible from the OC get CSR command, which may take a few minutes. There will be 2 CSRs for each node joining the cluster, one after the other, that will need to be approved. Once they are approved, the worker nodes join the cluster, and we can monitor for the install to complete. When finished, the console link and kubeadmin password will be printed to the screen. The next step is to use the Nutanix CSI operator to configure storage integration. Begin by logging into the OpenShift administrator console using the credentials provided by the installer. Once logged in, browse to the operator hub and search for Nutanix. Install the operator, creating a namespace for the components to deploy to. After the operator deploys, we need to create an instance of the operand, which will then deploy the components of the CSI provisioner to the nodes of the cluster. To configure the provisioner, we first need to create a secret, which has the connection information for the underlying AOS platform, followed by a storage class defining the characteristics to be provided to storage consumers. To verify functionality, we are creating a 100 GB persistent volume claim using the newly created storage class. Once bound, we can verify that the persistent volume's ID matches the volume created via the Nutanix Prism Element Manager interface. Finally, we'll configure the integrated OpenShift registry to use the newly created persistent volume claim by modifying the appropriate object. Thank you for watching this video showing OpenShift deployed and integrated with Nutanix AOS.
Great. Thanks, Andy and Andrew. Really great. I'm really impressed with how integrated and how seamless everything looks and how professional. It's going to be great for our customers. So let's take a look at a last few couple points here. OpenShift Container Platform is a preferred solution for Kubernetes and containerization, but Nutanix still does have our Carbon product, which is a inbuilt, instant, and easy-to-use way of deploying vanilla Kubernetes in a complete workflow that gets you set up and running in just a few minutes. In under 20 minutes, you can have a fully running cluster or a single coffee break, which is really great. It's included. There's no additional licensing for it, and it's really easy to use. Now, if you do want OpenShift, which is a preferred and fantastic solution, OpenShift is going to give you a much more robust, more mature solution, which has many more platform as a service PaaS solutions and developer-facing solutions, which is a little bit different than the Carbon experience. So both, you can have best-in-class OpenShift, or you can have easy-to-use, quick-to-deploy Carbon Kubernetes, both of which are very easy to use, both of which are fully supported, and we look forward to letting customers get the best combination they need to do to their workloads. But let's not forget, Red Hat, OpenShift, plus RHEL, plus satellite server is a fantastic combination on top of Nutanix. So we look forward to that. So please don't delay. Get started today and have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.